This is Ozarks at Large. When a new business opens in downtown Winslow, people there take notice. The Washington County Community's Main Street business is about a block long, and the highway that bypassed downtown itself was bypassed more than 10 years ago. So there has been some buzz about Broke Dog Custom Boots right next door to the Winslow Mercantile. Inside the building, Jason Clark and Jared Beavers are making boots much like boots have been made for more than 60 years.
I don't see a date on this one. These machines have been around since probably about the 20s, and it cuts leather and skives it down.
Jason Clark is thin and wears round, wire-rimmed glasses and a cowboy hat. He's trying to figure out when one of the many sanders, buffers, and sewing devices he uses to create custom boots was made.
Cuts big, heavy leather real easy without too much effort, or if you put it up here, it'll skive it off and make it skinny on one side.
Some of the tools here are 80 years old. The wonderfully named curve needle sole stitchers are more recent, built in the 1960s. But Clark says a single curve needle sole stitcher hasn't been constructed since 1971. So getting replacement parts requires detective work or homemade ingenuity. Everything here is hand-stitched, hand-pounded, and hand-carved. If you want boots tomorrow, keep on driving. To create the unique boots for customers from Texas to Tennessee, Jason Clark and Jared Beavers measure each customer's feet, each foot, actually, in 4 different places. A mold, called a last, is made from those measurements, and then an insole is applied, the leather of choice wetted, wrapped, trimmed, stretched, and dried around that mold.
When it gets to this point, we have you back in the shop after it's dry. Pull all the nails out of the bottom so you don't find them with your feet. Pull the last out, and you can try it on at this point before we ever put the bottom on it. It's laced up along the underside so that we can take up a little slack, give you a little more slack. If it's a little too tight or a little too loose somewhere, we can dial it in exactly like you want it to fit. Maybe not the way we think it should fit, but we're not the ones paying for it. We're just the ones building it. But we can get it to where we're all on the same page. You like it, we like it. We come back then and put the bottom on it. We'll welt it, put the sole on, which gets us back to where we were talking a while ago. And it'll eventually come out looking done. That pair right here is going to Wyoming.
And other boots in the works around the shop this week were destined for Kansas City and College Station, Texas. Repeat customers, like the fellow in College Station, don't have to return each time they buy new boots. The measurements remain the same. Customers include a few professional rodeo cowboys and some musician types in Nashville, but Jason Clark says most of the Broke Dog clientele are people who will put the boots to the test. Each pair has a minimum of 70 hours of work in it. Each pair, with just a little maintenance and the occasional sole repair, should last longer than the owner. And each pair is different.
We've got tiny little African bullfrogs.
Jason Clark pulls out a file cabinet drawer of hides and leathers in deep blacks and brilliant blues.
We've got Stingray. Those are blue Stingray.
This drawer is where the $750 base pair of boots can turn into the $4,000 pair of boots. The top drawer hide here is alligator, the hide complete with a federal game tag to prove it wasn't poached. Gator hides destined for boots are not inexpensive. They're sold by the square centimeter. So when working with that hide, measure twice, maybe thrice, before cutting once.
There are a few things I hate in life worse than backing up with anything. I don't care to do it and then have to redo it, so I'm pretty anal retentive in that I will make sure that I do it right the first time, even if it takes way longer than it really should. Gator that's one reason they're so expensive. And you're going to mess up from time to time. You'd just prefer to not do it on Gator because it's so expensive if you have to back up and get a new piece.
This is Ozarks at Large.